Hey, I'm Jake, and today on the Steaming Pile, we're talking about the Ninja Turtles. Specifically, who's your favorite Ninja Turtle? And why that's a stupid fucking question. But before we do that, we need to don our ninja gear. Shitty editing! Alright, so where were we? That's right, Ninja Turtles. Now that we've got our ninja gear on, let's talk about why it's a stupid fucking question on who your favorite Ninja Turtle is. Because there's so many damn versions of the Turtles. Which one are you talking about? Is it a movie? Which version of the movie? Is it one of the several movies? Is it one of the several cartoons? Is it the video games? Well, lucky for you, we're going to talk about most of them. Alright, so first up, we're going to talk about the Michael Bay movies by not talking about them. Because they sucked. Fuck all of those turtles. I don't like any of them. With that out of the way, let's move on to the next subject. One of my favorite subjects, the comics. Now, the Turtles have had several comic series and even started as a comic book. Their original run was the Mirage run from Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. They've had an Archie run, an Image run that actually doesn't even count as canon anymore because it was so controversial. And they've got the current IDW run. Now, we're only going to talk about, in regards to comic books, the IDW run and the Mirage run. So, let's start with where it all began, the Mirage Ninja Turtle run. At the time, the artwork for the original Ninja Turtles comic book series and writing was done in tandem by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. We're not going to get bogged down into any one topic for too terribly long. You can look up the history for yourselves. But initially in the original comic book series, the Turtles all wore red bandanas. This was to appear as one when they would attack in the dark, I believe. Now, the Turtles took a while in the Mirage series to manifest their unique personalities. They were all kind of gritty and sort of the same for the first few issues and didn't really stand out. But that being said, this is where we get the seeds of some of the deeper character arcs in other versions of the Turtles that we see across different mediums. For instance, in the classic Mirage run, my favorite Ninja Turtle is Raphael. Because in this series, this is where Raphael stands out as the loner turtle, the angry turtle, a personality trait that we would see in pretty much every iteration of Ninja Turtles. I also like Raphael for his relationship with Casey Jones. In the original comic book series, they become fast friends and really good and sort of balance each other out. The first appearance of Casey Jones is just a overly violent street vigilante who Raphael sees some of himself in, and they sort of calm each other down. But yeah, original series, Raphael is my favorite. Now, let's talk about the IDW series, the current series. Fun series. Kevin Eastman has come back and helped with some of the writing and some of the art and oversees a lot of this current series. My favorite Ninja Turtle in the current comic books is Michelangelo. Michelangelo in the current series still has his normal personality traits. He's the party guy, but his compassion sets him apart from all the other turtles. He seems, although he is somewhat childish in this series, it shows how Michelangelo's innocence is a strength, and it shows how he can be more in the moment than the rest of the turtles, which gives him the potential to be perhaps the greatest ninja amongst them. And there are times in the series where Michelangelo will kind of go against the family's wishes because he thinks they're going too far. In fact, he leaves the Turtles for a small bit after the Ninja Turtles, along with Splinter, take over the Foot Clan later in the series. But I don't want to spoil anything, so read that amazing series for yourselves. Anyway, moving on, let's talk about the original cartoon series, the one that most of you all are probably familiar with. Many people my age and a little older got their first dose of Ninja Turtles in the late 80s to mid 90s original Ninja Turtles cartoon. Turtlemania was in full swing when this cartoon series premiered. It spawned countless toys, video games, and merchandise. It was everywhere. The Turtle Van being an amazing toy, the original 4 Turtles, the Pizza Blasters, the Sewer playset, the Turtle Blimp, then all of the ridiculous tie-ins like the Sports Turtles and various other just ridiculous garbage. Real cool toys, very fun cartoon series, but who is my favorite turtle? Well, as a dumb little kid, my favorite turtle from that series was Michelangelo. He was just the most fun turtle, And much like Michelangelo, I was obsessed with pizza as well. Next, in keeping with cartoons, we've got the Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series, the one that ran from 2003 and to 2010. This was a great series. It was a lot closer to the original Mirage comic. The Turtles were a little more serious. The animation was a bit better. The first few seconds of the first episode of this cartoon are actually near identical to the first page or two of the original Ninja Turtles comic book, issue 1, where the Turtles are in an alley and facing down a gang of street thugs, I believe the Purple Dragons. Now, my favorite in this series, and you'll sense a running theme here, typically I'm going to say Raphael or Michelangelo. Not a big Donatello or Leonardo guy, especially Leonardo. Leonardo sucks, don't get me wrong. I love katanas, but I'm not down for the ass-kissing teacher's pet. So anyway, in this series, my favorite character is Raphael. Because, again, for the sort of anger outsider story that I've come to love and associate with Raphael, it's executed fairly well in the 2000 series. I do, however, find Casey Jones' voice acting in this series annoying. Next up, let's go with the 2007 CG TMNT movie. This movie was underrated, and though the animation isn't quite up to snuff for today's standards, as technology has increased a lot in the last 12 years, it was still a pretty good movie, and you can tell that they were thinking it would be a lot more successful as they sort of set it up for a sequel with Shredder. But, that being said, my favorite turtle for this movie, Raphael. The Turtles had gone their separate ways before the beginning of this movie, and none was feeling the pain more than Raphael, who was hitting the streets as a masked vigilante. This comes to a head when he and Leonardo have a rooftop duel in which Raphael trounces Leonardo. Because sometimes Hollywood knows what you want. We're not going to dwell on this movie too long. Let's move on to the second Nickelodeon version of the Ninja Turtles, the CG animated one. Now, this was a fairly decent series. The Shredder was well represented. They introduced some new cool mutants and even had a few classics show up, like Leatherhead. But overall, I didn't care for this series. There's, at one point, a really horrific transformation with Mutagen Man. Mutagen Man is a classic character, but in this version, it's just really sad. There's this sad sack who wants to join up with the Ninja Turtles. He's just some kid called the Pulverizer. He dresses in a turtle costume and really wants to join the Ninja Turtles. And they kind of make fun of him or befriend him a little bit, but he shows up in a later episode where he's desperate to mutate. He ends up getting some mutagen on him, has a horrific transformation, and even though it's kind of like the Ninja Turtles' fault, they just sit there and make fun of the kid. I mean, it's really... The Turtles are kind of dicks in this series. I mean, if you really read into it more than you're supposed to, like, the Turtles seem like actual monsters. But that's not the point. Favorite turtle of this series, oddly enough, Donatello. Moving on, we have the new Nickelodeon cartoon, back to hand-drawn animation. Gonna be straight up honest with you all, haven't watched an episode, this doesn't appeal to me, I don't give a shit, so I don't have a favorite turtle for this version. So next we've got video games. Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle? How does that apply to video games? Shouldn't it be whatever version the video game's based off of? Well, no, not necessarily. It would be based on who you have a better time playing. And this is where the losers, Leonardo and Donatello, are really going to get to shine. Because it sucks playing Michelangelo and especially Raphael in almost every Ninja Turtle game. Especially Raphael. Raphael has a horrible attack. Like, have you ever tried to play Raphael in any of the NES Ninja Turtle games? It's terrible. He's got the take my strong hand attack that does little to no damage, and he's just cannon fodder. Save him to do the swim level when you're defusing the bombs in the impossible, like, second world to the Ninja Turtles NES game, because he's useless. If you Michelangelo, at least, has an okay attack, but it's only okay going straight forward. Just pretty terrible. But now Donatello and Leonardo, even in 3D later games, have superior reach and damage. To sum up, it's sort of a toss-up. It's a tie between Donatello and Leonardo for me. Donatello has the best damage. His down attack actually goes through platforms and strikes enemies and does a ton of damage. However, Leonardo has the best range of motion. Not doing as much damage as Donatello's bow staff, Leonardo's katana has the best speed, reach, and range of motion for attack. So there's some pluses and minuses there, but by far the best video game turtles. Near lastly, let's talk about the original Turtle movie trilogy. Yes, it's a trilogy of diminishing returns. Turtles 3, where they go back to Japan, not so good. Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze, not as good as number 1, but still pretty good. Tokka and Rahzar, awesome. Super Shredder, played by Kevin Nash, awesome. Shredder, returning, awesome. Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go Ninja by Vanilla Ice, not awesome. Hey, but that doesn't matter because the first Ninja Turtles movie is fucking sweet. I love the first Ninja Turtles movie. My favorite Ninja Turtle from the Ninja Turtle trilogy of movies is Raphael. This movie does Raphael the best of any version of any of the Turtles, even the original comics, in my opinion. And this movie is largely based off the first issue of Ninja Turtles and one of the later arcs of the original series. Now, however, there are some differences between the original series and the movie. The turtle that becomes closest with Casey Jones, for instance, is Donatello instead of Raphael. But Raphael's rage storyline is addressed in such a way that I don't care. It's a very touching film. And the fact that what are essentially puppets or animatronic suits can pull that kind of emotion and have that range of motion is a testament to the effects at the time. This was just a fantastic movie and one of my favorites as a kid. Now, hey, I know I said the initial premise of this video was, who's your favorite Ninja Turtle, and why is that a stupid question? Well, let me tell you why that's a stupid question. Not just the fact that there are so many versions of the Ninja Turtles out there that you have to be specific as to which one you're talking about, but because my favorite Ninja Turtle character isn't even a fucking Ninja Turtle. Don't get me wrong. I love Michelangelo. I love Raphael. I even like Donatello. And sometimes Leonardo's not such a douchebag. But my absolute favorite character for the Ninja Turtles is Casey fucking Jones. Casey Jones is the coolest character in that entire series. Not every version of Casey Jones, but specifically the original Mirage Comics Casey Jones, the 80s cartoon Casey Jones, and the original movie Casey Jones. We'll start with 80s cartoon Casey Jones. Was ridiculous. If you see his premiere, it's basically to attack machines. Casey Jones is like a Luddite beating computer equipment to death. Stupid machines! And he's just completely off his rocker in the 80s cartoon. We'll go ahead and talk about original comic book appearance Casey Jones and movie Casey Jones at the same time, as they're essentially the same character. I love this character. So in the first movie, you get to see Casey Jones beat up Raphael. That's right, after beating up two punks and about to cross the line, according to Raphael, by continuing to beat them further and maybe hospitalize them, he and Raphael have a fight, which ends with Casey Jones taking a cricket bat, knocking Raphael into the sky and into a trash bin, where any of the turtles belong if they mess with Casey Jones. Hey, not only that, Casey Jones gets to crush the Shredder at the end of the movie. When Shredder gets knocked off the building, falls into the trash truck, Casey Jones gets to pull the lever and crush that dude. But hey, the reason I really love Casey Jones is I feel like he's had a profound effect on my life. I watched the Turtles movie as a very small child, and I grew up to grow my hair out like Casey Jones, basically exclusively only wear ripped jeans, and wear nothing but sleeveless shirts and metal shirts. So I pretty much, besides the mask, dress like Casey Jones 70% of the time in my actual life. You know, trash. So yeah, Casey Jones made me the trash I am today. Anyway, that's about all for this week on the Steaming Pile. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And cowabunga, dudes! Turtle power!
Hey, Joey! I got some stuff you just gotta try.
What is it?
Pot. You know, marijuana.
Oh, well, I don't know.
What are you, chicken?
Joey's in a jam. What should he do? Kate.
Get a teacher.
Excellent. Get a pizza.
Get real.
Get out of there.
You got it. Let's see if Joey's that smart.
I'm not chicken. You're a turkey.
He's right. Drug dealers are dorks. Don't even talk to him.
Cowabunga!